Hey everybody, what's going on? Eric here. Welcome back to my channel. Hope you guys are doing damn good out there. Hope you guys have a great Labor Day tomorrow. So, these are coming up to the final videos of the Wally in a Box's Custom Kramer. And yeah, kind of getting excited to plug this thing in and actually hear it. I did some testing with the electronics to make sure they're working, but it was mostly the tap test. So here the body is basically complete. Knobs are on, switches in there, void rose is on there, pickups, everything. And I'm a little bit, going to be a little bit of a delay because of a little problem, which is actually a little problem, but creates a big issue if it's not correct. The string retainer. So, putting this thing together, and I kind of noticed that something just doesn't look right with the string retainer on here. And the holes have been drilled exactly where they're supposed to be, and the low E string and the high E string the low E string is really close to the edge. The high E string is not even where it's supposed to be. And the original holes were still inside the headstock. I was able to see them through the epoxy and re-drilled them, so that's not a big deal. But the string retainer itself is too short. It needs to be a little bit longer to catch a little bit more of the low and the high E strings to be able to pull them into the seat of the locking nut the way it's supposed to be. And if it's not, it causes a great big tuning problem when you're locking the nut in place, locking the strings in place on a nut. It just becomes a real big hassle. So I went online and checked things out for this type of a headstock for a Kramer, and yep, they are a longer style of a string retainer, so I ordered 2 of them. So that's going to kind of hold off things for a bit until I can actually do a setup. So the whammy bar, it works. Springs are so far staying into place. I just have to get everything aligned up, get the action height, get the relief set up in the neck, all the fun steps of doing an actual setup. Now, the only thing I haven't mounted to this thing yet is the strap locks. So I've got a new set of strap locks over here that I'm going to be putting on this thing. And other than the locks for the locking nut, that's basically all the parts that have to be put on this thing. That's all I'm left with as far as original parts go. Like I said, the covers I still have to make. Alright, so over here are a bunch of parts that I'm going to end up sending back with the guitar, and Wally could do what he wants with them. Some of them good, some of them bad. And yeah, so first off, the electronics on this thing. So they're pretty dirty. You kind of see here that there's rust around the pot, and it gets a little bit gritty right over here when you turn it. Maybe it could have been saved, but I wasn't even going to chance it. This 3-way switch over here, maybe it's still good. I don't know. It's kind of real shitty the way that whoever soldered this really globbed up some solder on there. So that's going back. Here's the 5-way switch, the original. Again, pretty rusty. I don't know what the inside of it is going to be like as far as using it. So that ended up getting replaced too. Here we have the output jack, which is a switched output jack, and I didn't even bother testing it. It just looked like shit. It looks like water may have gotten into it or condensation or something. And yeah, so that got replaced as well with a brand new one. For the tremolo, I ended up replacing the springs with brand new springs. These guys were kind of nasty and rusted. And like this one here it's bent. It's got a little bit of a curve to it. So this ended up getting replaced as well. The tuners, well, you all seen the video on that, how the nuts are kind of stripped as you thread them into the tuner itself. So these all got replaced. There's 3 good ones in here and 3 bad ones in here. So I don't know if he wants to hold on to these, keep them, or just get rid of them. It's up to him. Original strap locks, well, they're pretty much just nasty and rusted. The screws are all rusted out, so I'm not even going to bother with putting those back on. I got a set of new ones. The knobs are still good. There's nothing wrong with them. They are a little bit, got some dust on one side of them. You can tell where they were sitting at when the guitar was sitting. And they could be cleaned up and reused, so he can do whatever he wants with those as well. Now, the pickups, I did not test out the single coils. They just looked pretty crappy, and it probably would have been a matter of time before the glue kind of released itself from the magnets and caused him some problems. Did these come off? No, these are kind of, oh yeah, they do come off, but they're really goofy. So these are original, and yeah, so I didn't even bother with them. He could do what he wants with these. They may still work. I don't know. Like I said, I didn't test them. The EMG 81 I did test. However, there was an issue with the wiring that's going to the EMG. Now, I'm not sure if it was my error or if there was an actual problem with the EMG pickup or not. I tried several times to kind of test it, and each time I tested it came out the same way. I connected the hot wire to the hot wire that's going to the pickup, and I grounded it on the grounding strap that is in the audio wire and connected it to a patch cable, and kind of like, you know, the whole tapping trick and everything else to see if it still works. But as I was moving the pickup around, it got really like cutting in and out and real scratchy in some areas. So I don't know if there's an issue, like maybe right over here with the wiring going into it. Maybe there's a broken lead or something's going on, but maybe it's still good. Again, it could have been my error on my side when I was doing the testing on this thing. All new screws and springs. The Floyd Rose tremolo, this is the original mount for the Floyd Rose tremolo, which I ended up picking up a new one. So this is basically a screw-in, and the one that I have on now has got a nut on there. So that got replaced. Now, what's also going with this is the kit from the Dragonfire pickups that I put on there. Now, the Dragonfire pickups I put on there are active pickups. They're supposed to mimic the EMGs. Now, possibly it may be an 81 or 85. I don't know what it's supposed to mimic, but they're supposed to mimic the EMGs. In the kit, it comes with 2 pots, output jack, a couple of, there's another cap over here, and there's a cap over here. Got a 5-way switch, some wiring, and this is basically a small piece of shrink tubing. All that's going to be put inside this box here, and it'll be shipped back with the guitar. Wally can do whatever he wants with these parts. Some of them are good, some of them may be reusable, some of them may be just thrown away. So that's what's going on with this thing right now. I can't really do too much with guitar until the other parts come in. And Wally, if you tell me thank you again, I'm going to end up keeping the guitar and you will never see it again. I will hold it hostage. Just kidding. All right, you guys, take it easy. Have a good one, and I will catch up with you all later.